Caleb's disgust at Johnny. Welcome to L Squared, a podcast with fresh Love Island content. This drama is in no particular order. Aaron and Moira are moving toward each other. Queen Justine decides to trust her connection with Caleb. Thug Kenzie is falling for bad boy Jalen. Jalen said Kenzie was not in his top 3. Kierstan confesses why she's stuck on Carrington. Caleb passes on Cher. Carrington conveniently places himself in a lust shape. Calvin has a taste for Latina spice. Mercedes has officially become a beg. Connor still misses Kenzie. Cely imagines her and Johnny's reunion. Johnny finally stops wilding out. Let's get into it. This is a review of episode 16 of Love Island USA Season 2. The episode picks up after the raunchy races game, and the girls are catching up with each other around the pool, and the Casa Amor guys are catching up with each other on the chairs. This episode, thankfully, didn't have as much mess as the previous episode, and we got more confirmation that Jaleb is a go. Which we knew it was because Justine has that power. Caleb is under the influence. Bring on the reunion. Aaron tells the boys that his 2 top choices are Justine and Moira. Later in the episode, he chats to Moira and they're having a great conversation. They're telling each other how much they dig each other, blah, blah, blah. And Aaron slides in there. He secures his spot in Moira's bed. That's great. Later in the episode, Moira says to the girls that she wants to pull Aaron for lots of chats. She's really feeling him, and she's even starting to compare him to Calvin a little bit, saying that the 2 are very different and they both have really great qualities. Moira, do all the thinking you need to, girl. Move on. Move on, because we already know Calvin is not that into you, but Aaron is. Choose Aaron. Then we're on to the highlight of the episode, Queen Justine. She tells the girls that she liked Aaron's kiss during the raunchy races game and she was loving his full lips. She also tells us that she really enjoyed her conversation with Mike and that if she were to couple up with any guy, if Caleb weren't in the picture, it would be Mike because they were vibing heavy. Now, if you don't know the drama on Mike, some people uncovered some colorist tweets on him. We're not calling him a colorist, but we're saying that people on Twitter interpreted his tweets as colorist tweets. So if you want more on that, check out our blog post. Back to Justine. This is her island. This is her show. So Justine also confesses that she's going to trust her connection with Caleb because none of these guys can compare, and all of her power is just clenched into his spirit. So those 2 need to come together right now because if they're not clicking with anybody, then there's no point in having Casa Amor. Justine has explored her options and decided to deny them. So there's nothing more to do here. One thing we won't let slip by is the fact that Justine was in the bed with DeAndre. Are they best friends now? They skip so much in these episodes. When did those 2 even have a conversation? Thug Kenzie has made her comeback. Yes, we missed her. This is the Kenzie we love. I'm just kidding. But Thug Kenzie is the version of her who is tough, who says what she's thinking. She goes to bat, not just for herself, but for her friends. Thug Kenzie is the girl we saw in the sunglasses and the black swimsuit who fussed out James for being disrespectful to women and trying to drag Moira. No, not on her watch. And Thug Kenzie needs to be 100% present if she's going to get into any sort of relationship with bad boy Jalen, because he comes across as the type who's not going to be extremely sensitive to her feelings. He's going to say what he's thinking, not to be mean, but that's just who he is. He's a straightforward guy, and if you don't have thick skin, it's just going to hurt. So Kenzie is coming across as more fun to the girls. I think she's enjoying her breath of fresh air from the emotional stress that her relationship with Connor was producing. It seems like she was just being stifled with Connor. And I think it's pretty interesting that she pursued Jalen, and it's because of her pursuit of him that he's getting into her. So go Kenzie, be a thug. We like it. But we also know that it's dangerous falling for the bad boy. So hopefully Mackenzie doesn't get hurt, because she's cried enough on TV at this point. One funny thing was that Kenzie said Jalen smiles with his whole face. I thought that was a nice compliment, and she was kind of right on the money when she said that. He does smile with his whole face. Now that Thug Kenzie is here, she can handle bad boy Jalen, but this bad boy doesn't have a nice thing to say about our girl to the boys. He says that Kenzie wasn't in his top 3 when he went into the villa. So we know Moira was his number 1. Who is his number 2 and 3? Kenzie didn't make the list. Wow, she really was on the pity list, like she said in the last episode. So I'm not really sure if blondes are Jalen's type, like we were predicting last episode. And we just have to keep an eye on him, because he's already said that Kenzie wasn't top choice for him. And he's also made it known in this episode that he's no longer pursuing Moira because she's just not into him. Smart guy. If someone's not into you, don't keep pursuit. Move on. He's mature. But he has called Mackenzie beautiful. I think he does appreciate the person she is. But this is Love Island, and if you're not top choice, then that means your person's looking somewhere else, because there are other options in their mind. One thing I noticed about Jalen is that he seemed to like being around Mackenzie. He said that to her, and he just seems to have a good time talking to her. And I just thought it was so funny, the couple of scenes they had when they were talking one-on-one. Jalen was basically begging Mackenzie for a kiss. I feel like Mackenzie was trying to keep him waiting, or like playing coy a little bit, but eventually he got his kiss, and it was a good one. Very memorable. Go Jalen. Bad boy Jalen has disrupted one of the OG couples in the villa. Connor Kenzie is over. He's got Kenzie sprung. She turned into a thug. Kierstan also agrees that Kenzie has been a lot more fun since Casa Amor started. And in this episode, she finally confesses why she's so hung up on Carrington. She's talking to Jalen and confiding in him that Carrington is the most attractive guy she's ever been with. Like, she always wanted to jump his bones. I'm thinking their personalities also clicked a lot too, and maybe she just didn't get closure from their breakup. I believe Carrington didn't want to be with her because of her lifestyle, and maybe in her mind that's not fair, or she feels like that's something they can work through, or that's just a temporary thing. Either way, it wasn't an amicable or mutual breakup. She feels she still wants to be with him, but he just doesn't, and it's just hard for her to get over, and she just feels like they should still be together. So yeah, that's pretty tough. But she's giving it a chance. She's trying to talk to the other guys in Casa Amor, and she's saying that she's just getting friend vibes from them. She said that she had one conversation with Aaron that she likes. She finds him attractive, but, you know, she's not really pursuing anything because she's still romantically invested in her previous relationship with Carrington. Girl, please move on. Channel Thug Kenzie. You said you like Casa Amor Kenzie. You like Thug Kenzie. You need to trigger that energy right now and pick somebody, because I do not want her to be made a fool of in front of everybody. I mean, I'll respect her if she really has given these other guys a chance and she's just not clicking with them. Maybe she wants to make a statement to Carrington later and just stay single. I mean, Carrington did say that he hates seeing Kierstan cry. So maybe if she stays single for him, it'll move him. But girl, I doubt it. Like, I really, really doubt it. Carrington loves attention so much. I really feel like if she pined for him at that level, he would just absorb it into his ego and just have it for dinner. Like, seriously, Kierstan, move on. I know it's hard, girl. You can't shut off your emotions, but Carrington is not checking for you anymore. He's just not. On to the Puerto Rican, Carrington, who is just having the time of his life in Casa Amor. I think this is why he actually signed up for Love Island, because he just placed himself directly in a lust shape. So he's between Laurel and Mercedes. I don't even think he's taking Mercedes seriously. I think he's just interested in her because she's the bachelor party fantasy. She's giving, and the guys are getting all of their kisses, makeouts, all the stuff. And, you know, Carrington, like Johnny, likes attention. So he's giving that to Mercedes just so he can get some play. I think he's more serious about Laurel. During their Dare and Dare game, Carrington and Laurel spent 7 minutes in heaven. He seemed to really like that kiss. But then later in the episode, he makes out with Mercedes in the bathroom. And then later in the episode, he gets in the shower with Laurel. So this is clearly what he wanted from Love Island. Just a party and a bunch of women fawning over him. Live out your fantasy, Carrington. But those women deserve better. They're people too. And I just felt like... Laurel, she came across as such a classy girl. I mean, I know Carrington doesn't owe her anything, but he was really just fooling around. And I just feel like, okay, Laurel, like, needs a guy who's gonna take her seriously from the jump. All these girls deserve the best. Next, we're on to Mercedes. She's grafting Carrington. She's grafting Johnny. At this point, the girl has become a bag. I'm sorry. I never want to put down women on this podcast, and I'm not trying to put down Mercedes. I'm just telling you how her on-screen character comes across. She realizes Johnny is done with her, so everybody she talks to, she's saying she was never interested in Johnny anyway. I guess she's trying to save her ego a bit. Then she's on to Carrington trying to graft him. He's giving her attention, and she's trying to give the impression that, you know, she's not just a Casa Amor girl. She's not second choice. She wants to be taken seriously. But girl, it's as much as she put out, you know, the strong flirtatiousness, just being so forward with the guys. It's just way too hard at this point for them to take her seriously. So now she's coming across like a bag on TV, and it's sad. A part of me wants her to make it into the villa just for the drama and the fact that she tried so hard, and it would just be humiliating for her to go through all of that, be a villa or a Casa Amor villain just to go home. But girl, like, these guys are just, they're really giving you the brush off, and it's sad to see. But if she does go home, I wouldn't feel, you know, too sad or even any sadness about it, because she called Cely Sally in the confessional. Like, that disrespect was not necessary. We don't need to be a mean girl now. Yeah, it's, girl, you're not an option at this point. So, crickets. Yeah, I think Mercedes realized she wasn't an option. That's why she was trying to play herself up a little bit more to the guys as someone who was worthy of a choice, because it was becoming clear that they weren't taking her seriously. But on to Cely, someone who's actually in a relationship with Johnny, or so Johnny claims, even though he wasn't acting like it with Mercedes. Cely tells the girls that Johnny and Caleb don't seem like the kind of guys who are going to get distracted by some big boobs and, you know, like a nice booty. They're going to be committed guys. And we just love that Cely is cheering on Jaleb. Yes, encourage Justine to keep the faith, keep her power in Caleb. But it's also sad to hear that she has that same faith and trust in Johnny, and he's betraying her. On to Johnny. He's saying he still cares for Cely. He has a deeper connection with her. I think the guys made Johnny feel guiltier about what he was doing because they obviously recognized how wrong and contradictory it was. We know Caleb was disgusted. He expressed his disgust. Carrington called him out, and Johnny's image seems to be very important to him. So I think a part of the reason he calmed down with Mercedes was just the judgment he was getting from the guys. Not that they were calling him a jerk or anything like that, but you know what it's like when you do something wrong in front of everybody in the room. Nobody may say anything, but you know what they're thinking. They don't approve. So I think Johnny had to get his act together a little bit quicker than maybe he would have liked or would have if no one had reacted the way they did to him. So I thought it was funny that Caleb laughed when Johnny said he wilded out. Wilding out seems like an understatement, because if you're talking about how you have a deep connection with somebody and you know what you're doing is hurting them, I mean, he was just straight up unfaithful. Like, wilding out, that wasn't just having a good time. I mean, it just gets down to disrespectfulness and meanness. On to Caleb, our king. King for our queen, under Justine's influence, sharing the castle with the one and only, beautiful Justine on her island, is disgusted with Johnny and Mercedes. Like we said, this guy, Caleb, is just making faces. Like, at this point, there's no point in, keep saying, like, Johnny, you're messing up. Johnny, you're saying this and doing that. Because it's obvious. His disgust, Caleb's disgust of the situation is clear. But it also kind of makes me appreciate Johnny's bad behavior, because I think when Caleb saw Johnny doing that, it pushed him closer to Justine. I think it made him think, there is no way I would disrespect Justine like that or at that level. Like, whatever I do here, I'm going to keep it respectful because Justine deserves that. So I respect Caleb a lot more for his consideration and his respect for our queen. One scene that we caught was Janelle grinding and kissing Caleb in the hot tub. I guess they were playing another game, but the girl was still working. Later in the episode, we got a conversation between Caleb and Calvin, where Calvin is telling Caleb that he feels he has a couple of things in common with Cher, and Caleb is like, I'm not messing with that. Go ahead, man. He's vibing heavy with Justine. He's still thinking about our queen. Of course he is. He's under her influence. Like, there's no other way to describe it. He is hooked on Justine. Her power has entranced him completely. It's a wrap for Caleb. He might as well go back to the main villa for Justine. But of course, we have to go through more filler scenes before the Jaleb reunion. Calvin gets a grinded on and is kissed by Cher. I believe it's in the hot tub. So that was our quick little scene of those two together. He also says that his kiss with Faith wasn't very good, or it just wasn't it for him. They had a nice looking kiss under the waterfall, but for Calvin, it just wasn't hitting the spot. So that's unfortunate, because we wanted Faith to make it into the villa, but it seems like Calvin has his eyes more towards Cher, which is nice. I mean, we want Cher to make it into the villa as well, but we didn't want it to happen with Caleb. It's going to happen with Calvin, it seems, and that's fine. Bring in our Dominican girl. Do something for us, Calvin. Fan service. That's how you win America over. Get your bag, honey. Get your bag. Okay, now it's our favorite part of the show, our tweets. At Not Your Damn Son says, Calvin must really want to take someone to the main villa, because there is hardly any spark with him and Cher. Yeah, I mean, according to Calvin, there's more spark between him and Cher than there is between him and Faith. Part of me thinks that Calvin selected Cher because he thinks she's the prettiest girl. And maybe they have an interesting connection, because I believe Cher knows Portuguese or Spanish because she is Dominican. But other than that, I don't see much of a connection between the two of them either. We did say that if Cher doesn't make it into the main villa, then the whole thing is rigged. So it's fine if Calvin acts as a vessel. This had to happen. So there are lots of fan cams of Jaleb going around right now, lots of fan edits, and one is captioned, yeah, Justine gets what she wants. Oh yeah, Justine has that power. She is exercising it. Caleb is coming back, and he's going to come back to her with a pull that is stronger than ever. Someone else says in reference to Jaleb and someone else says in reference to Caleb and Justine that one kiss is all it took. Yeah, it was that simple for her. Someone else says, I'm shocked at Mackenzie's behavior, but in a good way. Yeah, thug Kenzie. We need more scenes of her. Someone else says the villa is superior. Yeah, absolutely. To Casa Amor, that is just raunchy. Woo. At Manny's Davis says, yeah, Johnny really messed up. And there's a fan cam of Cely. Absolutely. Cely does not deserve what Johnny's giving. She deserves so much more. Someone else says, y'all, I can't wait for the recoupling. This might actually be the most drama-filled recoupling in Love Island history. Yeah, let's hope it doesn't disappoint. Like, Johnny needs to get popped. Like, some people gang up on him. We need snitches. We need everything. Yelling, snapping of the fingers, clapping in the face, everything. Argument Hall of Fame, confront him to the fullest extent. At Bruv Island says, Carrington be like, I know a place, and there's a picture of a shower head. Yeah. So he was acting awkward with Kierstan in the shower, but he was so giddy to get in there with Laurel. I don't like that disrespect to my girl. Someone else says, Carrington needs to leave, but only after he snitches on Johnny. Absolutely. Absolutely. Do that fan service. We might let you get to the finale, because there are only like 3 weeks left, but we need that, please. Thank you to everyone who participated in the group chat. It was a lot of fun watching the episode with you all. Keep up with us at Lonely Loquate on Instagram and Twitter. DM us if you'd like to be featured on the show. We love responding to listeners' comments. We'll be back tomorrow night with more fresh Love Island content.